Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, September the 27th, and we are here to finish off the week of new releases that have been published this week and almost to the end of September as well. I think Monday is the actual last day of September, but we are in fall now. Hope you had a good Thursday and you have maybe some good things planned for the weekend or just resting. That's what I plan on doing. So let's take a quick look here. Hi, Kim. Good morning. Just finished breakfast with me. Oh, but it is good to see you. All right. Well, let us jump in. We have got came through the weather okay. Okay, good. We do have some power outages. Ooh. Good morning, Jennifer. How you doing? Good to see you. We are going to be looking at some books that are, not specific genres, but then we'll also be looking at some more of the cozy mysteries that we didn't get to this week. Everything is being published this week. This is the news worth knowing. Good news. First up, Queen Macbeth by Val McDermid. I would listen to Val McDermid read the home book. I saw her at a mystery book convention. Oh, I love her Scottish accent. This is a part of Darkland Tales. I believe this has different authors in that little collection. Britain's reigning queen of crime, Val McDermid, has ensnared audiences worldwide, blah, 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 blah. 1,000 years ago, in an ancient Scottish landscape, a woman is on the run with her three companions, a healer, a weaver, and a seer. The men hunting her will kill her because she is the only one who stands between them and their violent ambition. She is no lady. She is the first queen of Scotland, married to a king called Macbeth. As the net closes in, what unfurls is a tale of passion, forced marriage, bloody massacre, and the harsh realities of medieval Scotland. At the heart of it is one strong, charismatic woman who survived loss and jeopardy to outwit the endless plotting of a string of ruthless and power-hungry men. Her struggle won her a country, but now it could cost her her life. The Lightning Bottles by Marissa Stapley. He was the troubled face of rock and roll until he suddenly disappeared without a trace. Jane Pryor was once half of the famous rock and roll duo, the Lightning Bottles. Years later, she perhaps the most hated and least understood woman in music. She was never as popular with fans as her bandmate and soulmate Elijah Hart, even if Jane was the one who wrote the songs that catapulted the Lightning Bolts to instant, dizzying fame, first in the Seattle grunge scene, then around the world. But ever since Elijah disappeared 5 years earlier and the band's meteoric rise to fame came crashing down, the public hatred of Jane has taken on new levels, and all she wants to do is retreat. What she doesn't anticipate is the bombshell that awaits her at her new home in the German countryside. The sullen teenage girl next door, a Lightning Bottles superfan, who claims to have proof that not only is Elijah still alive, he's also been leaving secret messages for Jane, and they need to find them right away. A cross-continent road trip about two misunderstood outsiders brought together by their shared love of music, The Lightning Bottles is both a love letter to the 90s and a searing portrait of the cost of fame. I always do like some rock and roll fiction. I'm okay. They haven't brought my meds yet this morning. Uh-oh. Hopefully they're coming soon. Good morning, Elena. How you doing? Oh, you're good? Okay, good, good, good. Hi, Dream. Good morning. And yes, October 1st is next Tuesday. My brother Arthur is his 35th birthday today. Happy birthday to brother Arthur. And we're going to San Diego today as we leave early. Oh, yes. This is your trip. Cool, cool. We'll travel safely. A Home for the Holidays by Taylor Hahn. For wedding singer Mel Hart, the holidays have always retained a certain magic. Her mother, Connie, always managed to pull off spectacular Santa hijinks that convinced Mel to keep believing in Santa way longer than other kids. Those moments meant everything to Mel because the rest of the year life was unpredictable because of her mother's alcohol use. But 2 weeks before Christmas, Mel gets a call from the hospital. Her mother has died. Then a woman shows up on Mel's doorstep claiming to be Connie's estranged best friend, promising to tell Mel a different narrative, one in which Connie was almost a famous country music star, if only a man hadn't gotten in the way. Instead of spending Christmas alone in her dead mother's house, Mel agrees to stay with Barb for the holidays, finding herself in the middle of Barb's complicated family and uncovering secrets while fighting an attraction to Barb's in the middle of a divorced son. As Christmas approaches, Mel reckons with how little she knew about her mother's past while re-examining her own future. A Golden Life by Ginny Kubitz. It's 1938, and 25-year-old Secretary Frances Healy is ready for a fresh start. Hoping to forget her painful past, she takes a job working for Hollywood producer Lawrence Merrill. She quickly becomes absorbed in Vista Glen Studios' biggest project, a movie about Kitty Ridley, the legendary stage actress who disappeared from the public eye in 1895. The movie will be the making of Belinda Vale, a beautiful ingenue who is hungry for a breakout role, but also happens to be Mr. Merrill's love interest. But the real Miss Ridley has other ideas. Now 90 years old, she writes a scathing letter insisting the studio halt production of the film. Hoping to change her mind, Frances and Mr. Merrill embark on a trip to find the actress, only to land in a Victorian farmhouse in the Napa Valley. But as she learns the truth of Miss Ridley's life, Frances finds herself confronting the very past she's been trying to forget. And with the arrival of the ambitious Belinda, loyalties will be tested, bonds will be forged, and Frances will learn where true happiness lies. I have excuse me, sneeze. Set in Hollywood and the sun-drenched Napa countryside, this book explores friendship, forgiveness, and the power of honoring your own story. And I had not clicked on the tab. There it is. While I have a sip of coffee. All right, back at it. This next one is nonfiction. You are welcome. I almost read this one this week. I was looking for another spy versus spy book and was looking at a nonfiction option here. This is called Book and Dagger: How Scholars and Librarians Became the Unlikely Spies of World War II by Elise Graham. At the start of World War II, the U.S. found itself in desperate need of an intelligence agency. The Office of Strategic Services, OSS, a precursor to today's CIA, was quickly formed, and in an effort to fill its ranks with experts, the OSS turned to academia for recruits. Suddenly, literature professors, librarians, and historians were training to perform undercover operations and investigative work, and these surprising spies would go on to profoundly shape both the course of the war and our cultural institutions with their efforts. In this book, the author draws on personal histories, letters, and declassified OSS files to tell the story of a small but connected group of humanities scholars turned spies. Among them are Joseph Curtis, a literature professor who hunted down German spies and turned them into double agents; Sherman Kent, a smart-mouthed history professor who rose to become the head of analysis for all of Europe and Africa; and Adele Kibra, an archivist who was sent to Stockholm to secretly acquire documents for the OSS. These unforgettable characters would ultimately help lay the foundations of modern intelligence and transform American higher education when they returned after the war. I thought that sounded really interesting and appropriate for Spy versus Spy September, which is coming to a close this year. Excuse me. The Holiday Cottage by Sarah Morgan. To the outside world, Imogen is a marketing dynamo. Her colleagues don't know that while her high-achieving professional image is real, the happy childhood memories she spins are as fake as her pretend enthusiasm for Christmas. Working 24/7 has always been her solution to surviving the festive season until burnout leads to a catastrophic blunder. Suddenly, Imogen is handed a holiday gift she definitely doesn't want and forced time off work to recuperate. Then an invitation arrives from her favorite client, Dorothy, to stay at her guest cottage in the Cotswolds. From the thatched roof to the cozy open fireplace, Holly Cottage is a picture perfect haven. Can it provide the fresh start Imogen so desperately needs? For Dorothy, helping Imogen offers a longed for chance to make reparations for her own past. But as her daughter Sarah keeps reminding her, it brings risks too. Yet Dorothy knows that only a leap of courage will allow her family to grow and heal. And perhaps this Christmas, with Dorothy's help, the new life that Imogen is slowly piecing together could be better than anything either of them could imagine. I think that's sort of, if you're looking for a Christmas story for the down the road Christmas season, and you don't necessarily want to do the hallmarky romance stuff. Nothing wrong with those, but sometimes. Good morning, Dream. How you doing? I think I said hi already. Who is the author of Golden Life? Ginny. Oh, actually, she had a third last name. Sorry about that. Um, Ginny Cubits Moyer. Yeah, I thought that sounded really cool. And I'm clicking all over the place. Where am I? In the Garden of Monsters by Crystal King. This is being called historical fiction. Italy, 1948. Julia Lombardi is a mystery even to herself. The beautiful model can't remember where she's from, where she's been, or how she came to live in Rome. When she receives an offer to accompany celebrated eccentric artist Salvador Dali to the Sacro Bosco, Italy's Garden of Monsters, as his muse, she's strangely compelled to accept. It could be a chance to unlock the truth about her past. Shrouded in shadow, the garden full of giant statues that sometimes seem alive is far from welcoming. Still, from the moment of their arrival at the palazzo, Julia is inexplicably drawn to their darkly enigmatic drinking game host, Ignazio. He's alluring yet terrifying, and he seems to know her. Posing for Dolly as the goddess Persephone, Julia finds the work to be perplexing, particularly as Dolly descends deeper into his fanaticism. To him, she is Persephone, and he insists she must eat pomegranate seeds to rejoin her king. Between Dolly's fevered persistence, Ignazio's uncanny familiarity, and the agonizing whispered warnings that echo through the garden, Julia is soon on the verge of unraveling, and she begins to wonder if she's truly the mythical queen of the underworld. And that is what I had for the off-genre kind of books. These are continuing. Got it. Okay, good. Good morning, Ms. Blogger. How you doing? We're looking at the new releases published this week. And now we are continuing with the cozy mysteries that we had started to look at. On Monday, we had finished on Columbus Day Conundrum by Tanya Koppes. Dorothy Howell has a new one, Sheer Terror, third in the Sewing Studio Mysteries. Abby's life in Hideaway Grove is comfortable, and she's grateful for her small sewing studio in the back room of her aunt's bakery, but she's feeling stuck. Her plan to expand her custom tote bag business by selling to a chain of gift shops has hit a snag. Making enough totes to distribute to all the stores requires large-scale production, which requires money Abby doesn't have. To make ends meet, she takes a part-time job at the town's bustling visitor center. Abby is soon sorting items with her coworkers for the visitor center's annual Lost and Found Day, when unclaimed items are displayed and offered for sale. Thanks to tourism, there's enough to fill a huge stockroom, but something is amiss. Eleanor Franklin, devoted to all things Hideaway Grove, hasn't shown up for work, and when Abby discovers her whereabouts, it isn't pretty. Eleanor is dead inside a clothing bin, dressmaker shears impaled in her chest. Shears, the sheriff reports, are engraved with Abby's name. Under suspicion, Abby will have to launch her own investigation. But who would want to kill her to kill thoughtful Eleanor, a model resident always so full of good advice about how to uphold Hideaway Grove's high standards? As it turns out, not everyone appreciated Eleanor's advice. Now Abby will have to cut through a tattered trail of greed, theft, and revenge to sew up the case before a killer cramps her style for good. It would be a pretty stupid killer to kill the person with a weapon that has your name on it and to leave them behind. Therefore, she is not the killer. Sheriff. I'm behind now. Someone came in to see if I needed to get dressed. Gotcha. Mrs. Claus and the Nightmare Before New Year's, a Mrs. Claus mystery by Liz Ireland, 5th in that series. April Claus is looking forward to relaxing with her hubby Nick, aka the Santa Claus, in the week between, as long as he looks like the red-haired Mickey Rooney one from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, between Christmas and New Year's Eve. But just after Santa departs for his deliveries, an elf pulls into Santa Land with 3 people he found lost in the frozen wilderness. The survivors of a scientific expedition are injured, but their presence endangers the future of Santa Land. So while the strangers recuperate at the infirmary, April convinces Christmastown to pull off its grandest, most impossible, most magical feat yet: pretend to be normal. Posing as a touristy, albeit Christmas-centric Arctic town, the elves cover their ears, snowmen take a vow of silence. I'm picturing Spock with the headband. And the reindeer keep their hooves on the ground. But as New Year's Eve draws closer, hiding their true selves becomes harder to do, especially when one of the uninvited guests dies under highly suspicious circumstances. With a murderer in their midst, April sets out to find the uncorked culprit before any old acquaintances should be forgot, or worse. End of that row. I admit that's very humorous. Buried in Bliss. Have a good day, Kim. By Sarah Isabel, part of the Lisa Jones Cozies. 4 books. Welcome back to Bliss, where the past never stays buried and the present is always an adventure. When treasure hunter Dr. Jasper Jazz Hawkins breezes into town with tales of decades-old jewelry heist, Mayor Holly Bliss and vintage fashion extraordinaire Lisa Jones can't resist the allure of a good mystery, but as they dig deeper, they uncover more than just missing gems. With Lisa's ex-husband Parker back in town for a writing seminar and the boisterous Bliss Senior Center crew joining the treasure hunt, chaos and hilarity ensue. Add in Stevie the blind husky and her feline sidekick Trouble, and you've got a recipe for nonstop entertainment. As the investigation heats up, so do unexpected feelings and long-buried secrets. And where's Jimmy Jones' usually chatty, spectral voice when you need it? Lisa finds herself navigating not just clues, but also matters of the heart and family ties she never knew existed. Sounds very cozy indeed. Silent Nights Are Murder by Libby Klein. Ever since Thanksgiving, when an engagement ring in a velvet box and no gift tag was left behind, Poppy and her pals have been left with an unsolved mystery. But at least this mystery isn't the kind that involves murder. That all changes when the body of a fish supplier is discovered in the kitchen of her ex's restaurant and he's frozen, not fresh. For once, it's not Poppy who tripped over the corpse, yet she can't escape being drawn in since the victim has a note taped to him reading, "Get Poppy." Figures, an engagement ring isn't labeled, but the dead guy is addressed to her. Now, while Aunt Ginny plans a tree trimming party and pressures Poppy to decode a mysterious old diary, the amateur sleuth is asked to unofficially go undercover at the restaurant to help the police. Until then, the only crime Poppy had been dealing with was the cat Figaro's repeated thefts of bird ornaments from the tree. Now it looks like it's going to be a murdery Christmas after all. Caught on Camera by Kara Lacey, first in the Camera Club mysteries. It's been more than a year since the sudden death of her husband, and photographer Bobby Brooks wants nothing more than to escape her grief. Fleeing her life in the city, she seeks a fresh start in the serenity of the Green Mountains. But Bobby's new beginning comes to a halt when she finds a member of her camera club dead beneath the village's idyllic covered bridge. Tragic accident or something sinister? With a keen photographer's eye, Bobby suspects murder. As if transitioning to small town life wasn't challenging enough, Bobby's missing scarf is found at the murder scene, making her the primary focus. Scorned by local gossips, she enlists the help of her camera club and shifts her lens from photographer to amateur sleuth. Using photos found on the victim's camera, they waste no time setting out to catch the killer and discover no shortage of suspects. Secrets, lies, and blackmail. Danger abounds as they close in on the killer. Her camera holds the answers, but can she develop the clues in time to stop the killer? A Spirited Reckoning by Claire Lockhart, 7th in Midlife is Murder series. Welcome to Bookend Bay, where the coffee is spice, the ghosts are cheeky, and midlife is murder. Wedding bells are about to chime for Quinn Delaney's best friend, but for Quinn, the only thing ringing is the spectral voice of a true crime podcaster haunting her cafe. This egocentric ghost has a bone to pick, and it involves the untimely demise of Bookend Bay's chauvinistic bookstore manager. As cryptic messages appear mysteriously around her cafe, and with a team of spectral sleuths eager to solve the case, Quinn's life becomes a paranormal punchline. With her cafe overrun by restless spirits and her reputation on the line, Quinn must rely on her wits and courage to uncover the truth behind the murder and banish the ghosts for good. Throw in her obsessive otherworldly twin, whose good intentions backfire, and it's a recipe for a hilarious, cozy caper. Can Quinn unravel the riddles, save the wedding reception, and reclaim her cafe before the caffeine runs dry and her sanity snaps? Read it and find out. And that's all we have time for. There are 11 more. I have made this Amazon list public if you want to take a look at them before I delete them. Here is the link for them, for that. So we got to as many as we could. Usually it's about over 75 books each week. So I appreciate you guys watching it. If you've missed earlier ones this week, I do repost these later in the day, so you can watch them at your leisure. You don't necessarily have to get up early. I'm just a morning person, and this is the time that I have to do this. And I want to see what books are being published each week. I am a voracious reader, and I want to know what's out there, and nobody else is doing this, so I gotta do this. Hope you guys have a very good Friday. I don't have sprints tonight. I do have reading sprints tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Those go for 5 hours. I do reading sprints 3 times a week for a total of 10 hours. I do them every Tuesday and Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then the Saturday afternoon tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good Friday. Have a great day, everyone, Jennifer says. Thank you. Back at you, baby. And hope you guys, if I don't see you, have a good weekend. So please take care of yourselves, read good books, and as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.